Dear students, myself Dr. Deepti Srivastava, Associate Professor, Government Dungar College, Bikaner. In the continuation of origin and evolution of reptiles, today we will be discuss on some more points regarding this topic. The oldest known amniotes egg from lower Permian sediments in North America represents a time long after the establishment of reptiles. In tracing the evolution of the reptiles from amphibians, attention has been restricted to certain skeletal features of reptiles like single occipital condyle, 5 toes on the front feet, fusion of more than 2 ribs with the sacrum. Some of the primitive reptiles failed to fulfill these features. In fact, these primitive reptiles showed little advancement and were very similar in their skeletal structures to those of labyrinthodont amphibians. Considering these difficulties in their identifications, some authors prefer to call them amphibious reptiles, but majority of the workers have designated them as stem reptiles. Stem reptiles. The stem reptiles have been grouped together into the order Cotylosauria. They were contemporary of the primitive amphibians of late Pennsylvanian and early Permian times. In the later part of the Permian, however, the amphibians were outnumbered by these reptiles. Ancestry of Simoria. For a long time, Simoria was considered to be a distinguished member of the order Cotylosauria, and its structures were evaluated as intermediate between amphibia and reptiles. Adequate fossil remains of Simoria have been discovered from the upper portion of the lower Permian sediments from Seymour in Texas. Seymoura was a small form about 5.1 centimeter in length. It had a few reptilian features like anapsid skull, single occipital condyle, large parietal eye and 5 digits. Recently, the characters of Simoria have been re-examined. The joints in the fingers of Simoria are like amphibia. It had only one pair of sacral ribs. It had traces of lateral line sense organs on its skull. Moreover, it existed too late in time, pre-Permian, to become ancestral to reptiles. On the merits of these characters, Simoria is no longer considered as an ideal primitive reptile. It has been sanctioned a lower rank, that is with amphibia. Ancestry of Limnocelis. The work of Romer suggests that Limnocelis, a Captorinomorph cotylosaur, is the primitive reptile. The fossil forms of Limnocelis obtained from the late Carboniferous or early Permian strata of New Mexico illustrates many characters that one might expect to find in a member of the primitive reptilian stock. Limnocelis was about 5 feet in length, and half of this length was donated by the tail. Its skull was of anapsid type and was compressed from side to side. The otic notch, so characteristic of labyrinthodont, had disappeared, leaving an indication at the back of the skull of its region of closure. The premaxillary teeth were large and overhung the front teeth in the lower jaw, a specialization common amongst early reptiles but seldom present in amphibians. Other members of the primitive reptiles are Camptorinus and Hylonomus. It is very reason to believe that at some early period, that is Permian, the reptiles splitted into two divergent evolutionary lines. One of these lines are called Therapsida, which led to mammal-like reptiles and mammals, while the other line is called Sauropsida, which led to other reptiles and birds. Recent investigations suggest that both Therapsid and Sauropsid evolved from Camptorinomorph Cotylosaurus. The position of Ichthyosaurus and Pliosaurus is still problematical. The Chelonia derived from common Camptorinomorph Cotylosaurus is not closely related to other modern reptiles. No authorities are yet unanimous about the precise stage in evolution at which the Therapsida and Sauropsida lines split off from one another, though the fact remains that such dichotomy is must. The brain of a mammal is fundamentally different from that of a modern reptile and could have in no way evolved from the modern reptiles. Similarly, the great arteries from the heart of mammals cannot be derived from that of modern reptiles. According to Goodrich, the hook-shaped fifth metatarsal among the sauropsid, absent in Therapsida, is a useful parameter in distinguishing the two evolutionary lines. There is no doubt that some of the reptiles living today are linked by a beautiful series of gradations to very ancient progenitors, the Crocodilia, Chelonia and Sphenodon lead back as far as Triassic. But there is no reptile and has persisted from age to age as Ceratodus has done amongst the fishes. Thus, from the point of view of evolution, the living genera of reptiles are never intermediate between amphibians and the mammals or amphibians or the birds. To find a common ancestry for a mammal and a lizard, one is to retreat back to an ancient reptilian or more probably to an amphibian stage in evolution. History of reptiles. The name reptiles was given with an eye to the snakes which crawl. Repair means to crawl. That reptiles are familiar to man is evidenced from the fact that there are frequent mentioning the snakes, turtles or alligators in Eastern or Western mythologies. According to Hindu pantheon, the supreme god Vishnu had his third incarnation in the form of a turtle, Vashuki, a great snake on which the earth rests according to Hindu mythology, was used to churned the ocean to bring Amrita, a liquor for immortality. The snakes have been assigned an evil role in Judeo Christian tradition. Adam was driven out of the Garden of Eden because of the temptation instigated by a serpent. Crocodiles and snakes was worshipped in Egypt. In Mexico, a feathered serpent is the image of a fair god. Pliny and Galen in their time prescribed that cu- um, to cure various ills, vipers may be eaten. Viper tooth was much in use in Europe until very recently. Evolutionary gain of reptiles. The evolutionary gain of the reptiles over the amphibians is the attainment of lungs and the development of extra embryonic membranes called amnion and allantois. The reptiles and their descendants, the mammals and birds, do not breathe by gills at any stage of their life, but depend solely on lungs, which are effective organ to derive oxygen from atmosphere. Again, the reptiles and other conquerors of the land do not cradle their young ones in open water as do the amphibians and fishes. This has necessitates the formation of a protective and antenatal rope round the growing embryo. The protective robe is the amnion, a thin enveloping sac filled with secreted watery fluid in which the embryo floats. The allantois, on the other hand, is an outgrowth from the posterior part of the digestive tract of the growing embryo. The amnion helps in withstanding exposure to dry air and protects from mechanical shocks. Allantois is a richly vascular emergency organ which helps in respiration and excretion. Because of the presence of amnion, the reptiles, birds and mammals are collectively called amniota, while all lower vertebrates in which no amnion develops are called anamniota. Other features that stand out sharply in reptiles are the presence of a thick integument covered with scales and leathering and strengthening of limbs for locomotion on land. However, it cannot be denied that the name reptile was suggested with an eye to the limbless crawling snakes. But in reality, the class Reptilia includes not only the snakes, but also the lizards, turtle, tortoise, crocodiles, as well as the living fossil Sphinodon of New Zealand. The class Reptilia also includes a large number of extinct forms that dominated the earth during Mesozoic era. So, today we were discussed on the origin and evolution of reptiles. Thank you.